Yet another week of digging deep has resulted in more epic Bigfoot vocals. Come join Reverend Jeff as he takes us off to Pennsylvania for some of the scariest vocals on record, going all the way back to 1975. Just what do Appellation Bigfoot sound like? Find out tonight on the Squatters Lounge podcast, along with the news and another new Quasi theory from Dean Cooper. The night will be dark and full of terrors. And now, the man who actually does what his beard says, the Reverend Jeff Kelley.
That is absolutely right. I do what the beard tells me to do. Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the Squatters Lounge podcast. Here we are. I'm here. You're there. Makes the whole thing worthwhile, that's for sure. What we usually do this time of the week is we get kicked off with a little bit of the newsy type stuff. So let's see what's in our bag of tricks this week, shall we? Okay. Oldest human DNA from Africa reveals clues about mysterious ancient culture. That's right. Burials from a cave in Morocco have yielded the oldest human DNA evidence yet from Africa, offering new insight into Stone Age migrations. Does that mean that the pre-human moved over to Morocco first before that they had a virus and turned into Homo sapiens and walked their way out? Because Morocco's kind of going the wrong way. I mean, it's in northern Africa, but we kind of want to see them going up that corridor into Europe. Into the Middle East and into Asia and those kind of places. And Morocco isn't exactly there yet. But beginning around 15,000 years ago, a culture of hunter-gatherers buried their dead with animal horns and other adornments inside this cave. Those burials were found as recently as 2006. Archaeologists have been excavating the caves since the 1940s. So yeah, here we go again. All the different places around Africa, they all kind of bear these weird looking monkey people. They're saying here that this is the oldest human DNA, saying Homo sapien sapien. I'd kind of like to see how that all pans out in the end, if they're even going to be able to tell when exactly we became us, because there's just going to be a bunch of stuff that isn't us, like in between other stuff that isn't us. It's kind of strange. I know this doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but you'd have to have an anthropology degree to really understand all this stuff. Moving right along here, people. That's right. The brutal Chimpanzee War was likely driven by power, ambition, and jealousy.
The medulla oblongata is where anger, jealousy, and aggression come from.
That's right. Thank you, there, Colonel Sanders. When a new leader was crowned, it was hoped that the community would just settle down and peace would prevail. But two younger pretenders had other ideas. Their lofty ambitions, meaning they wanted to seize power for themselves. The resulting fracture in the group led to years of brutal warfare, during which raids were conducted, ambushes were set, and no one was above murder. I mean, these guys are like vicious. They will steal females from other tribes and mate with them and then send them back so that they're having their babies and that they don't even know it. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. It's a good Friday night on a hillbilly Appalachian trail, maybe. I'm not sure, but oh, that was horrible. I didn't mean it, hillbillies. I am one. Damn it. I'll claim it. I come from Appalachia. The events were recorded by Jane Goodall after a decade of watching the community of chimps hit Gombe National Park as a time when the chimpanzees were thought to be peaceful. Yeah, we'll show you peaceful. We'll set ambushes and kill shit with sticks. Ah, Caesar! Okay. The Artie, it walked the 4.4 million years ago. Apparently, they have found a new paranthropus type thing, Artiopithecus, shows that the hominid could both walk upright and climb trees, which, that would be beneficial for a lot of reasons, to be able to brachiate through the trees, yet still walk terrestrially on hipped legs versus bowed legs like the chimps and the gorillas actually have. The pelvis, from a partial Ardipithecus, I think that's Ardipithecus ramidus skeleton, nicknamed Artie, bears evidence of the efficient human-like walk combined with plenty of hip power for ape-like climbing, says a team led by anthropologist Elaine Kozma and Herman Ponzer of City University of New York. Although researchers have often assumed that the evolution of walking in hominids required at least a partial sacrifice of climbing abilities, Artie avoided that trade-off, and the scientists report of the week April 2nd. So they waited till after April Fool's Day to make sure that this was an actual news story and not another friggin' April Fool's joke. We'll get there in a minute. News blog up by Steve Coles, which I don't know if you guys follow things in public. He did reply to me after last week's show, which I thought was very nice of him. We had a little bit of a going back and forth about equipment versus stated facts of the case, and I just asked a few questions, and his final reply was to it that he hadn't researched it deeply enough to make a conclusion based upon what evidence I may have or may not have presented in the course of our discussion. So that's fine. Some people don't want to be a hard edge. That's fake, but I'm pretty sure it was made in a studio with people. I'm just going to kind of go out on the edge and say that, but this doesn't have anything to do with that. He's fighting disinformation, one claim at a time. Now, Linda Newton-Perry is host of the Bigfoot Ballyhoo blog, and for years just has been posting sensationalized crud about Bigfoot on the internet. It's just for clicks and dings. It's that dopamine that goes off in her head every time she gets a new like or every time she gets a new read of her blog. She's addicted to it, so she just comes up with the craziest crap. But apparently, if you report a Bigfoot sighting, they're going to cancel your car insurance. Say what? Apparently, if you report a Bigfoot sighting, they consider you a psychiatric risk, and they suspend your driver's license so that you can be checked out by a doctor. We hope these practices have stopped. I'm, of course, looking into it. David Poldy is back in 2010 with the driver's license thing in the state of Oregon, and they were just like, huh? What? No one's ever done that. No one knows anything about it. Well, now adding this claim of your car insurance is going to be canceled. By who? Who even knows who your car insurance is, Linda? I mean, the state knows, but the cop doesn't. That's for damn sure. Anyhow, check it out. squatchdetective.wordpress.com. Yeah. State to issue limited Sasquatch hunting permits. I was like, cool. What state? I want to go. And I start looking through it. I mean, look, everybody knows I'm not no kill. I mean, if you got a chance to put one down, put it down. There's plenty of them out there. Might not be plenty of them in your particular area, but there are plenty of these creatures out there. Do not be afraid to put one down. Worst thing you're going to get is a poaching charge, and that'll go away. But Whitehall, New York, apparently, and I get through here and I'm reading it, and then I go through, and this is only a preview of the story, which was published in the Granville Sentinel. To read the full story, blah, 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 or print it, click here. So I did click there, and it took me to a login and a sign in, and I was kind of pissed off about it. Then I read the editor's note. This story is completely false and is only intended for humorous purposes and is not in any way, shape, or form meant to be taken seriously. Enjoy the satire, April Fools. Yeah, but you don't post that on March 28th, you idiot. Anyhow. Sadly, again, we've got to report another Bigfoot loss of the world. Bigfoot historian Al Hodgson dies on Easter Day. Al had been the grand elder statesman and well-known historian of Willow Creek, California's Bigfoot community. He died Easter morning, April 1st, 2018. Hodgson was 94 years old, and this is not an April Fool's joke. Steve Payne, a local community organizer, shares the news through Bigfoot Books. that they had lost a wonderful founding member. Al was there when they filmed Patty. I mean, he was one of the people that went down and did a lot of the investigating after the fact. If I'm not mistaken, it may have even been him that found the ass prints up on the side of the hill. I'd have to go back and look through my video edits to see if that was the actual case of it. But he will be sorely lost. He was one of the original horsemen, and we had a memorial for him in the lounge about the shitter squatch of Louse Camp, because that's where a lot of those guys liked to stay. So, Al, may you Bigfoot. Now you know everything about Bigfoot. You know everything that's going to happen with Bigfoot. So congratulations, and may the force be with you, or the squatch be with you. Sorry. May the spirit be with you. Don't forget to check out the Redbubble page, redbubble.com/people/Bigfoot-watch. That'll get you into my page, and then you can go through all the cool stuff. There's clocks, there's stickers, there's 3 other campaigns as well. Don't forget the Bigfoot Campfire Stories, the Eldorado Bigfoot Watch, and the official member. And I'm going to be putting new designs up very, very soon. Speaking of the Eldorado Bigfoot Watch, this Friday and Saturday, we are supposed to get the Pineapple Express arriving from Hawaii. So literally, we're going to be expecting 2 to 3 inches of rain. Driving into a canyon system that's surrounded by 7 water creeks and rivers and that type of thing is probably not a good idea. But if it fails, if it changes, Saturday, we're going to try and get out there Saturday afternoon and take a look at the campsite and some video of it now that the road restrictions have been off. But if it just rained 2 to 3 inches of rain, I can't really go anywhere on the off-road anyhow, even if I had 4x4. So I'm trying. Now that the ban is lifted, I can get out there and start to look around. Everybody's asking me, which campsite are we going to be at? I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to pick the one that's going to have us out in the bacon sun, but I don't want to pick one that's going to put us clear back by the road. So I've got to get out there and take a look at the 3 that are still available, and they're going to be available. Nobody's looking to book them. 50 people. We have nowhere near that. So sloungepodcast@gmail.com. Send me an email for information or just to reserve a spot. Tell me how many people are coming. Check-in time is going to be 1 p.m. However, if nobody is in that spot in the morning, we can go ahead and occupy it. So I won't really know until I get out there that morning whether we can start occupying it at 8 or whether we can't start occupying it till 1. Either way, there's fishing to do. You can fish at the reservoir all day long until we can get into our spot. So that's the update on the Eldorado Bigfoot Watch, and I am so glad that you guys are in here with me tonight. Okay, with that, then we move on to Quasi Theories from a Quasi Scientist with Mr. Dean Cooper. Here we go. And now, Quasi Theories from a Quasi Scientist with your host, Dean Cooper.
Little Feet from Ivan T. Sanderson's Abominable Snowmen Legend Come to Life. Dear Mr. Sanderson, I listened to you on Long John Nable's program last Thursday and was very much surprised that you talked about such things as abominable snowmen in America. I am a housewife, but I majored in biology, attended our state university, and have an MA in plant zoology. I come from Mississippi, but we have resided here in Kentucky for 10 years now. I wonder if you've ever heard of the little red men of the Delta. Nobody thought anything much of them when I was raised, except that one had better be careful of shooting one because it might be murder, or so the sheriff might think if anything came of it. But I was surprised to find that the folks hereabout know it too. Though they took some years to talk to me about it, they are said to be about the size of a 10-year-old kid and able to climb like monkeys and to live back from the bayous. They talk a lot but keep out of gunshot range and mostly go into the water. They are people, and the muskrat trappers say they often wear scraps of discarded linens, old jeans, and such. Yours, etc., Mrs. V.K. If you haven't read Abominable Snowmen, Legend Come to Life, you are an ill-read squatcher. But be that as it may, these little guys that climb like monkeys don't seem to get much press these days. Native peoples knew and know a good deal about them. Like the bigger hairy men, almost all tribes in North America have stories about them. Some of the stories rather closely resemble those of the little people of Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, with supernatural under- and overtones. I'm just going to list a few of the names and descriptions the tribal people gave them. The Yakama know them as the Watistas, the ancient people. They are 2 feet high and wear rabbit skin robes. The Flathead Indians say that when they moved into northern Montana, there was a race of 3-foot-tall dwarves, dark-skinned and with a civilization. The Shoshone have the Ninimbe, who are 2 to 3 feet tall and wear goatskin clothes. Great Lakes tribes had hairy-faced dwarves of different names that had small canoes. The Miami, who did not live in Florida, but in parts of Illinois, Indiana, and southern Michigan, knew the Paisa. The Paisa are about 2 feet tall, with white skin and light brown hair, and wear shirts woven with long grasses, bark, and sometimes fur. The one thing most of the tribes say about their local Little Feet is that they can be quite dangerous. Some use chipped stone-tipped poison arrows. Others try to lead you astray, to be drowned or led off a cliff. As the 19th century Scottish poet William Allingham warned, "Up the airy mountain, down the rushy glen, we daren't go a-hunting for fear of little men." You may read the text of this on my blog at bydean.com. That's BHAIDIN.com.
It was funny. We were just having this conversation the other day in a hangout about there's actually more reports of little people out there than there actually are of Bigfoot. Smallfoot? Littlefoot? Maybe so. All right. Thank you, Mr. Dean Cooper. Now it's time to get out in the hangout and say hello to everybody out there. Welcome back live, Miss Natalie Smith. So glad you are feeling well enough to join us tonight, ma'am. Mr. Kent, every week I got to get this off of my damn microphone. And there is Mr. Rod Dupree. He's always in the place to be. Cheryl Willens in the house as well. I'm glad you joined us. Mr. Don Reif, hello, the Viking himself. Timothy McCune, hello there, sir. Between Timothy and I, we agreed on that little audio that he had passed to us last week. Most likely a red fox going pow, chicka, wow, wow. It's the little tiny lungs of the red fox that kind of gave it the squeaking away. Yeah, look up at Vinyl Power Podcast on Facebook, and you can find all those archives for right now. Let's see here. Shane Barber, how you doing there, champ? Glad you're with us as well. Obsidian Radio's back live with us as well. Hey, he's been gone for a while. Yeah, I love the way you guys chat in here. That's exactly what I had always wanted, was for people to be able to communicate in here. Nicholas Hoskins, how you doing? Glad you're with us as well. Lee Scott, hey. That's right. Careful, because if you go, yeah, the Kool-Aid man might crash through your wall. Not really. Maybe. I'm not sure. Dean Cooper, there he is. That's our Quasi man himself. I know there's more people than this in here. There is Mr. Chris Evan. How you doing? I don't know anything about any new sightings in central Pennsylvania, but I would be interested in learning about that as well. Who else is out here with us? I know there's more people than this. Lance Windsor, there he is. He's there. Joined us at last. I see London. I see France. There he is, the Reverend Matthew Gaines. So glad you could feel up to joining us, sir. Sending out good, warm vibes to all you people who are healing and needing it, and praying to everybody out there that'll listen to make y'all better as fast as we can. So with that, my love and respect to all of you guys who are fighting whatever it is that you're fighting out there. I know I fight my own demons myself. Gone Trapping, how you doing? Back with Red Rat and Mr. Fang. Cody Johnaway, how you doing there, champ? Glad you're with us. Nathan Gates, Iron Maiden and Bigfoot. Yeah, man, you can't go wrong with the Iron Maidens, dude. Up the irons. Yeah, Eddie Forever, P Footer. Glad you're with us. Buck Nye, the Bigfoot guy. I love that guy. I don't ever quit Bigfooting, man, no matter what they say. Kim McKinney, Keith Blount. Man, that's a cool name. It's almost like Keith Blunt. Man, you almost want to just walk in a room and go, my name's Keith Blunt, bitch. Sorry, man. I love the name, though. I really, really do. And there's our Squatch Box hanging out with Christopher, I'm sure, having some ketchup and cheese on his vegetables. But however it is, you got to eat them, brother. Just eat your vegetables. Sam Squanch Rivera slides in the home. There he is. Bam. So glad that all of you guys could be here with me live tonight. So Pennsylvania, yeah, I'm from Pennsylvania, man. I've heard them up there. Like as a kid, like my pap used to take me out to his shine still every once in a while and let me stay out there with him for, 4 or 5 days during the summer. And man, they ain't no doubt, man. I've heard what I heard now. I know what I heard then, and boy, was it just creepy. They're kind of all over the place tonight, so let's take a listen to them. The first one up we're going to bring up here is the 1973 Westmoreland howls. They're very, very famous howls. They're very old, and you can tell. Now, this is the same type of period of time we're talking about with the Sierra sounds. And I want you to listen to the quality of this recording and then think about the quality of the samurai chatter. I mean, seriously, what the heck was that? But that was recorded on the same type of diaphragm microphone that they would have had up there in the Sierras in the mid-70s. Now, that was 1973 in Westmoreland, Pennsylvania. Now, during that 1973 year, there was a whole bunch of activity all over the area. Greensburg County on August 14th, Deary County on August 16th, Kingston County on August 17th, Bradenville, August 17th, Latrobe, August 20th, back to Derry again, August 21st, back to Greensburg again, August 21st, back to Latrobe, August 21st. It's like these animals are, it just seems to be a time period. You go up there, the Hermini, and you need an extra N in there somewhere. It's not pronounced. My tongue doesn't work right. Hermini, Hermini, whatever. 1973. Again, back to Westmoreland County in August 25th. Luxor County, August 26th. Beach Hill, August 27th. These are all in, 1973. Then you skip like nothing. 1974 for the same area. Oh no, I'm wrong. I'm absolutely wrong. There are one in West Newton and the other one in West Newton. So they're both in 1974. And then 75 has like 2, 76 has like 1, 77 has 3, because these areas start to build up and they become more laden with people, and I don't know, less people in the woods at that point. But they literally in this area go all the way up to current. I mean, this one has up to March of 2013 in Legionnaire term. one here in 2010 from Scottsdale. So, you know, that creepy whale from 1973. I mean, whatever it is definitely got some lung capacity. I mean, there's some breaths there, but they're definitely pushing some of those along. Let's see here. Now, these come from, Now, the next ones come from a BFRO report, number 50123, if you want to look it up yourself. And it talks about, I have an audio tape of this event, and it's never been heard by anyone other than a few neighbors and friends. It was fall evening. I was doing homework in our trailer, which was a half a mile from where my dad was building our house. He would get home from work around 4 o'clock and then work out there till 10. One evening, he came flying out the road in his truck and pulled in the driveway and ran in the trailer asking my mom for a tape recorder. I was curious and asked him what was going on. He said there was something in the valley fighting with a dog. So I grabbed my coat and I wanted to see it. So they went down and this is what they were recording. Now, the original ones, it's about 51 seconds long. I just kind of took an unedited piece for you out of it. Now, again, this is 1974, 1975 technology. I mean, it would have been one of them little friggin' tape recorders with the little friggin' diaphragm microphone with the little on-off switch on it like we all had when we were kids. I mean, this is what we're talking about. These people are recording with in the early 70s. So what I did was I went ahead and tried to enhance that out a little bit. Now, unfortunately, there isn't a great part to really enhance, so I did my best with it. If you've got really expensive speakers on, please turn them down, put some headphones on, do something. I don't want to be responsible for blowing up your home theater. So you've been warned. Now, the end of the report actually talks about the creature was fighting with our neighbor's dog, and never seen or heard from the dog again. It came around a lot before this happened. Also, once I was allowed to go down into the valley, I moved some leaves around the area where I thought the battle took place and found deer hair and bones scattered in around a 20-foot area. Was too young to think about footprints or hair samples at the time. But that's the actual recording that's been passed along with that. And again, it's just horrible quality because of the microphones that were used to collect the evidence themselves. Now, the next one's a little bit more modern. This one, the person who recorded the video says that the Bigfoot screams in Allegheny County, Pennsylvania. And they're hard to hear at first. I as usual, I've left it untouched for the first portion of it, and you can listen to it. You'll hear little grunts and groans, but I know where Allegheny County, Pennsylvania is, and I know it to be Bigfoot country because that's one of the areas that have plenty of reports have come out of when I was a child, long before anybody ever actually really kept track of any of that stuff. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and play off the original. Again, if you have really expensive speakers on, please switch them to something crappy or put in your headphones. Now, from the explanation of what I could find in the materials afterwards, were simply that the guy lived on the edge of a game preserve there in Allegheny County, and there are several of them in that area. And that, you know, these sounds were basically coming out of a hollow, a valley, you know, divots. I don't know. It's hard to explain the way the mountains are up there. The labored breathing, to me, is something. It's like every time he'd almost get himself calmed down, you know, it would go off again, and his breathing would become labored again. I mean, it gives a sense of almost being there with the guy. Now, I'm not going to do the whole thing, but I did take 38 seconds of that clip, and I normalized the best of what I could between his breathing to see if we could get a little bit better listen to what those grunts actually sound like. Because some of them, I got a deep voice. Some of them I can't reproduce. So take a good listen to this, and I have a couple of good clips after this. Now, you know, that's filling something, an area, the sounds. I mean, that's something with big lungs. That's something that's capable of huffing. You know, it's not the normal yells that we hear, but in between his breathing, I was able to pull out a couple of really good just examples of whatever this is. I mean, I'd like to say it's a Bigfoot, but I didn't see it. Take another listen to that. You know, I don't know what that is. I can't. I'd like to be able to put a finger on that, but I mean, it's central Pennsylvania, so there are no moose, there are no elk. There's white-tailed deer, bear, cougar, um, coyote, the occasional wolf, maybe. Mm, I I really, past that, they would have lungs big enough to and have it echo through the barrel like that. I'm just not really sure. But this last clip is the one that kind of got me convinced that it's just not something I can put my finger on. Yeah, what the heck was that? I mean, there's no way I could echo that off of the walls of a valley structure like that and be that loud with it. I mean, that's really, really down there. So, again, I send it back out to you guys at this point. Anybody? Bueller? Anybody got an idea what these sounds are? Feel free. sloungepodcast@gmail.com. That's my email address. Facebook.com/groups/slounge. That will put you in there. Wow, look at that. Dead Explorer. He's in the house joining us tonight. Glad to see you there, Mr. Superstar. Yeti's uncle as well. He dropped by a little late. Albert Ledsma, how you doing there, champ? Danny L, he checked in with us now that I see them here. Yeah. How you doing? We are working hard at it. That's exactly what we are doing. So, Mr. Jonathan Dowdy has joined us a little late as well. So glad everyone is here. And that, my friends, is really actually going to wrap it up for this edition of the Squatchers Lounge podcast, because I just don't know how to follow up those kind of vocals for you, except with another real Bigfoot encounter. So stay put right where you are for that. And I will see you guys on next week's show. Thank you so much for being here. May the light of everything heal what's ailing you, and we'll see you next week. May the Squatch be with you. Welcome to another edition of Real Bigfoot Encounters with Reverend Jeb. This week's story comes from the swamps of Falk, Arkansas, home of the legend of Bucky Creek. Sometimes those things that go bump in the night really are monsters. This is one of those stories. Well, I'm probably going to regret telling this story. Everyone I know will probably laugh me right out of the county. I myself for years would horror and laugh every time someone would mention these creatures. But here it goes. Several years ago, on a cold night in January 2000, I was coon hunting in Miller County, Arkansas. I don't know exactly how far from Mercer Bayou we were, but I know we were in the area the old-timers call Thornton Wells. While we were hunting in this flooded timber, our dogs split-treed. I went to my dogs who were working on the other side of the swamp. The other guys went to their dogs on the other side of the swamp. I got to the tree my dogs were working, and I looked at my coon and then caught my dogs. Everything seemed okay, so I decided to amble back towards the others. I could just barely hear the dogs baying across the bayou. Suddenly, I heard something walking in the flooded timber. Bear in mind, this whole area is 8 to 15 inches of flooded and brackish swamp water. I could tell by the gait that it was someone coming in the flooded woods, so I called out to them, thinking it must be one of the hunting companions. To my dismay, no one answered. Instead, all I heard was a deep-throated gurgling growl and an almost putrid smell. The smell was like when you kill a wild hog and grab him by the hind leg, and then you give him a dragging out, and then you put your hand up to your nose and the smell knocks you over. I also heard kind of a whining, kind of whistling sound. My dogs were on my leash, and they were whimpering now. They weren't just any dogs. These were UKC lippert-bred walkers. They probably weighed close to 100 pounds. They could rip a 20-pound coon apart if they were cowardly crouched behind my legs whimpering. I knew I'd seen them tear coyotes to shreds when they tried to come into a tree where they were working. I just couldn't understand it. Still in all, I wasn't concerned about any of this. I got my dogs and started back across the swamp. After a few minutes, I heard the sound of someone or something walking in the water again. So I stopped and turned around, and standing right behind me was a creature of immense size. He must have been at least 8 or 9 feet tall. He was covered from head to toe in real dark hair, and when my coonbuster coon light hit him in the eyes, his eyes glowed like a deer in a spotlight. Talking about the hair on the back of your neck standing up, I was scared. I don't even remember being that scared. He made a hissing sound and reached down and took his hand and started scooping water and throwing it up at me, making a deep throaty noise. My dogs started chomping at the leash and growling, trying to get at it, having finally regained their bravery. I grabbed the leash and tore across the swamp, so scared that for a while I even went in the wrong direction. I got to a big cypress knee and caught my breath. I could hear the thing behind me. It sounded like it was like about 100 yards or so back. It followed me for a ways, and then after a while I could hear it across the bayou making a moaning sound and moving away slowly. I got my breath and my compass bearings and started back to the truck. When I got there, I didn't say a word to my friends about what I saw or heard, for fear they'd just laugh me down. Needless to say, I've never returned to the Thornton Wells, nor do I plan to. For a long time, I kept this to myself. I even had nightmares about it. The only person I ever told was an old coon hunter from Doddridge. As for now, he's gone and buried. I do remember something he said, though. He said, if you're smart, you'll keep that to yourself. I know from experience people will laugh at you and call you a liar. I've hunted in the Salper River bottoms many nights, but I've never seen anything like that since. I'm not one for tall tales, but I thought I'd share this terrifying idea with you because it seems the time may have come. Anonymous. Sometimes it's better to just keep moving than to turn and see the monster that's stalking you. This time it ended safely for the hunter, but who knows next time? For me, it was just another real Bigfoot encounter. Thanks for watching. I'm Reverend Jeff. Until next time, may the Squatch be with you.